morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the commanding officer, welcome to Sector North Bend to honor the dedicated service career of AET1 James Froese. I am Chief Petty Officer Froese, and I will be your Master of Ceremonies. As a cordial reminder to those of you carrying cell phones, please turn them off or place them in silent mode for the duration of the ceremony. Military members should remain covered during the ceremony and follow the lead in rendering honors. Photographs during the ceremony are highly encouraged. On behalf of Petty Officer First Class James Froese, welcome and thank you for being here today. Will the guests please rise for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the national anthem. Now, Master Chief Cato arriving. Now, AET1 James Froese arriving. Now, Deputy Commander, Sector North Bend, arriving. Color Guard, present the colors. And salute. Ready, two. You may all take your seats. Today we gather to formally recognize 20 years of service AET1 James Froese has given the United States Coast Guard and our country. It is my honor to introduce Charles Guerrero, Deputy Commander of Sector North Bend.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us on this important day. Today is a day steeped in military tradition that harkens back centuries, and it is a privilege for me to be a part of this morning's ceremony. Before I begin, I would like to give a warm welcome to Petty Officer James Froese's mother, Lily Jean, who will be watching a video of this ceremony from her home in Ontario, Canada. I would also like to recognize Lily Jean for her incredible contributions to the Coast Guard as a moderator for the Coast Guard Mothers Facebook page. Thank you for your service. Welcome to Coast Guard North Bend. It is an honor to have you here this morning. My comments today will be brief because today is your day. Today belongs to you, James. Belongs to you, your family, your friends that have helped make 20 years of honorable service possible. Before we proceed with the formal retirement ceremony of Petty Officer Froese, and in keeping with the spiritual tradition, I would like to reflect for just a few moments on the amazing career that brought James here this morning. Petty Officer Froese began his enlisted career in the United States Coast Guard in 1997. His service started at Coast Guard Station Burlington, Vermont, on the eastern shore of Lake Champlain. I have to admit, I had no idea there was a Coast Guard station in Vermont, so I was pretty sure that Vermont was landlocked from the Atlantic Ocean. But you learn things new every day. At Station Burlington, Vermont, Seaman Froese worked off a 46-foot buoy boat to maintain over 138 dayboards. I believe this is where he got wise to the differences between boat and aviation communities, and headed off to A school, graduating as an avionics technician 3rd class, or an AET1. He spent the next 6 years at Air Station Detroit as an H-65 flight mechanic, made 1st class, now AET1, or avionics electrician technician 1st class. From there, he headed down to Miami, Florida. This is where I had the honor of meeting and working with Petty Officer Froese for the first time. Initially, he transitioned from the 65 to the HU-25 Falcon. He earned his surveillance system operator qualification and was actually on the first Coast Guard aircraft to land in Haiti after the devastating earthquake in 2010. With the decommissioning of the Falcon, Petty Officer Froese once again got wise to the different type of aviation communities and transitioned back to the H-65. In fact, our first flight together, James, was a whopping 0.4 hours. I don't know if you remember that or not. Unfortunately, we had to actually give up our aircraft to another crew for a much more pressing operation, the filming of the Alvin and Chipmunks movie called Shipwreck. So here we are today in North Bend, Oregon, where Petty Officer Froese is credited for saving 4 lives when the crew of the 6519 deployed the rescue swimmer from a 130-foot hugger to 4 fishermen in a life raft that the vessel Jamie K. was crushed into pieces against the granite outcroppings of the Oregon coast. In summary, with approximately 2,100 hours of flight time, Petty Officer Froese has served with distinction in all of his duties across our great Coast Guard. I can stand here for a very long time and discuss his distinguished accomplishments, but as I said before, today is your day. Petty Officer Froese, before I call you up to formally recognize you for your tremendous work here at Sector North Bend, let me say this. Thank you for all that you have done, not only for the Coast Guard, but for all the volunteer work that you have done, that you have graciously given to each of the communities, and particularly your time spent here at Hughes Bay Fire Department. I'm truly excited to see you move on to your next adventure. Sector North Bend and the United States Coast Guard would not be the same without you. If you would, please join me at the podium so that we may formally recognize you for your accomplishments.
Stations Company, Lieutenant Hutt. Citation to accompany the award of the Coast Guard Achievement Medal, Gold Star in lieu of a third, to James R. Froese, Avionics Electrical Technician, 1st Class, United States Coast Guard. Petty Officer Froese is cited for superior performance of duty while serving aboard Coast Guard Sector North Bend, Oregon from July 2013 until September 2017, and for over 20 years of honorable and dedicated service to a grateful nation. As the avionics shop supervisor, he demonstrated superior leadership, mentoring avionics shop personnel by providing technical expertise and guidance on the MH-65 Delta electrical, navigation, and avionics systems. An experienced flight mechanic and instructor, he completed 11 instructional flights and 7 search and rescue cases, saving 5 lives. Of particular note were his efforts on October 18, 2016, working closely with the pilots to navigate through dense fog, low ceilings, He helped locate a lost hunter and subsequently executed a perfect hoist from 170 feet amid trees towering over 150 feet to either side of the hunter. Known for his steady hand and calm demeanor, his efforts were instrumental in saving a hunter's life. A compassionate leader, he provided counseling to afloat aviation personnel as a member of the Critical Incident Stress Management Team. Deploying on short notice, he provided timely CISM support, deployed Hitron helicopter air crews, and cutter personnel following an airborne use of force mishap. Petty Officer Froese's diligence, perseverance, and devotion to duty are most heartily commended and are in keeping with the highest traditions of the United States Coast Guard. The operational distinguishing device is authorized. Stations Company, seats. Commander Guerrero will now present AET1 Froese with a certificate of retirement. Stations Company, 10 HUD. Certificate of Retirement from the Armed Forces of the United States of America. To all who shall see these presents, greetings. This is to certify that Avionics Electrical Technician First Class James R. Froese, having been retired after honorable service in the United States Coast Guard, is awarded this testimonial as an acknowledgement of duty faithfully performed during a period of over 20 years. Done in Washington, D.C. this first day of November in the year of our Lord, 2017. Signed, Paul F. Zunka, Admiral, U.S. Coast Guard, Commandant. Stations Company may take their seats. Master Chief Cato, Command Master Chief, Sector North Bend will now present AET1 Froese with a shadow box displaying 20 years of accomplishments with military branches in both the United States and Canada. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce AET1 Froese to offer a few words.
Good morning. Thank you for all for coming to my retirement ceremony. With the commander for being here. Chief, Master, ceremony, all tongue tied already. Thank you, Master. EO, thank you, Pops. And I'd like to welcome my friends to an extended family. Froese Bay Fire, thank you for coming and authorizing the big ladder truck. Can't really miss it. I'd also like to thank my friend Misha and Diana for coming out from Humboldt. And I want to thank my mother, who's not here. She's in Ontario. And both my mother and my father wish they could be here today, but they don't travel well. And they wish to send their greetings, and they wish they all could meet you. Kind of go back a little bit, touch base. I've known Misha since Miami. He and I went through an up and down road together, so we're kind of, he's one of my best buds, and I'm really glad to meet him. Thank you. And thank you, Chief Mark Anderson, Froese Bay Fire, for bringing the fire truck in. And last but not least, my hangar deck. Thank you for all coming here, being part of my day, and putting up with me rambling. I'd like to thank the tweet shop. Newman, thank you. He's in the back. He's doing the sound. And Clay he set up the recording for me so I can go home and so my mother will be able to watch the ceremony today. Thank the AMT shop for being around. ASTs for supporting me and letting me do stuff. Yes, I'm working. And the YNs for putting up with me the last couple of weeks going in and out. hey, what else do I need to do? What else do I need to do? It's all good. So my time in the Coast Guard started back sort of in the spring of '95 when I saw a commercial on TV for the Coast Guard. Yeah, and I actually did commercials on TV. It's kind of weird. That same summer, I had a summer job down in Sarasota, Florida, and I sought out a recruiter to find out what I needed to do. And he told me I had to do this test, the ASVAB, and I was like, what? I grew up in Canada, it's not a common thing. So he's like, yeah, you take this test and you can see what you can do in the Coast Guard. At that point in time, I went back, finished the summer job, and went back up home in Ontario, and the closest recruiter for me at that point was in Buffalo, New York, which was 4 hours away. Kind of like here, we get to go to Portland for everything, or UG. Long story short, I finally raised my hand on October 21st of '97, and I was off to boot camp for 7 weeks, 4 days in Waco. Made it through boot camp like the rest of my recruits of boot company Bravo 152 by getting the Cape Man credit. At that point, I found out I was going to Spaldwick Station, Burlington, Vermont, just like the XO. I didn't even know it was Coast Guard unit there. It was like, it's in the middle. It's not even on the water. But I found out the reason why after I got there was I showed up in the Sunday, January, and I get there, I was all in my Bravos, standing there all nice and happy. The BM2 was like, welcome to the station, here's a vacuum. You'll check in tomorrow morning, the chief will be here tomorrow. I was like, all right. Guess I'm on my way to be a coastie, there's a vacuum. And the next morning I found out that Lake Champlain was split between 2 states, the state of Vermont and New York, and has international waters in the top end up in Quebec. So that's the reason Coast Guard is there. I ended up being there for almost 2.5 years, kicking buoys, taking care of day boards, but I realized that boats are slow, and I was always looking up at the aircraft flying overhead. My BM1 was like, you're not boating, you need to go aviation. So my BM1, Scotty Brown, was the one that actually pushed me in the direction of going aviation. And I was actually there for Scotty's retirement. He retired, and he was a soup sandwich. So his ribbons were all jacked up. He didn't have the number of service stripes on it. He was in the Coast Guard for 24 years. He had like 2 service stripes on his Bravo. He was like, I'm done. He's like, I'm good. But yeah, Scotty was my hero. In the spring of 2000, I got accepted into the airman program and was transferred up to Air Station Detroit, which is not actually in Detroit, it's north of Detroit. I was there for about 4 or 5 months, and then I was on the road to A school. But I wasn't going to East City. I went to Spartan, one of the Spartan bastards. And so that was 22 weeks of kind of being out of the Coast Guard at that point, so which was kind of nice. It was 120 of us non-rates going to Spartan, and there was one senior chief at that point that was in control of all of us. I don't know how we did it. It was like herding cats. Graduated A school as an ABT, and I went back to Detroit. Became a flight mechanic shortly thereafterwards, and flew on a small number of red flare and uncorrelated maydays. While in Detroit, I saw the upgrade to the 65, HH 65B. I also saw then the upgrade to the Charlie model. During that time, I was flying around, and I was able to advance to 2nd class, then also to 1st while I was in Detroit. I did a very non-standard tour length there. As the XO was saying, it was over 6 years, which is not normal. In the summer of 2007, I got orders to Miami. The kicker was I was transitioned to the Falcon, the lawn dart of the fixed wings. I got to Miami and was sent off to Mobile, Alabama for a Falcon BA school. It was a 10-day, go there, get a fire hose, learn how to be a BA on the Falcon. I spent the first 7 of those 10 days, I wouldn't touch the aircraft because I didn't, as soon as I knew if I touched it, it was real. I was then a fixed wing. But I finally did, and I turned into a Falconeer and back to Miami, and then worked my way up from BA to SSO, Sensor System Operator, and was able to see most of the Caribbean, or better said, break down on most of them, which was awesome. So I got to see pretty much every Caribbean island. Through some under-the-table trading between the leading chiefs, I was able to transition back to 65 while in Miami. That's where I met Misha. By then, the 65 had gone through yet another change. It was now the MH65 Delta. So I've got my ABCDs on the 65. My time in Miami was a little bit shorter tour than one in Detroit. I was there for only about 6 years. And then I got orders up to here to then Group Air Station North Bend. That wasn't very long. It transited to sector almost within a week after I got here. The final 4 years, I would say some of the best. I was able to deploy with some great crews. Got to see some really cool and exciting places. During all the times that I've been in at the different units I've been to, I've also felt it was the right, or my need to, besides serving the country, was also to also serve my community. So while I was a non-rate in Burlington, I volunteered at the local YMCA doing youth programming in the summer camps with them. When I was in Detroit, I helped out with the local junior ROTC program, helping the kids understand what it means to be in service to your country. While I was in Miami, I was a guardian ad litem for the Fort Lauderdale family courts. I was an advocate for children in the court system. When children don't have the right to speak in the court system, that was my position to be able to speak up for them, to let them know, hey, this is your rights, you can talk, and this is what you need to do. That was an eye-opening experience. It humbled me a lot at that point. And then when I got my orders here, I'm now volunteering with Froese Bay Fire. Obviously, the big ladder truck kind of shows that off. So my one thing is, you get to be a Coast Guardsman to your community as well as to your country. Also, track here. While I've been in the entire time, so you can hear me, most of the time that I've been on the trips home, when I was visiting my folks, because when I was in Burlington, I was only about 3.5 hours from home. And when I was stationed in Detroit, I was only about 5 or so. So it made it easy to see my folks. They're both, they're elderly. My mother doesn't get around well, they don't travel well, so I would travel with them and visit them. But my mother wanted me to remember what my roots were. So she gave me this to travel with me. So everywhere I've been, I've got a location and a picture of me, something that shows off like the different deployments I've been on, or the different stations, like everything from my first cutter that I did a deployment on, which was the Don't Come Home It's a Home Run. Then pictures of Gitmo, Caribbean Islands, the different ones I've been to. And the last one I've done was last summer when I got a chance to go to deploy to Japan. I was on Mount Fuji, so I have a picture of that location. And then today, it's the last log of that one. I'm going to get a picture of myself, and hopefully as many of you guys would like me in it with me for my last thing. So what I'm going to do when I go home, I'm going to return the flag to my mother with the logbook that I'm filling out to give it to her, to let her know my heart is open. So I'd like to thank everyone for coming out to celebrate with me today. Kind of better words. So thank you. Chief.
Stations Company, 10 Hut. Will the guests please rise and remain standing for the retirement of colors, the playing of Semper Paratus, and the departure of the official party. salute.
Froese and march. Order, march. Forward, march.
Ready, 2. Now I ask that the Deputy Commander and Petty Officer Froese make their way to the front of the stage to honor Petty Officer Friese's last request.
Mr. Greta for Department Head, Liberty for Department Head's discussion.
Ladies and gentlemen, Petty Officer First Class James Froese, United States Coast Guard, retired, departing. Now, Deputy Commander, Sector North Bend, departing. And salute. Ready, 2. Now, Master Chief Cato, departing. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our ceremony. Retired Petty Officer Froese offers his sincere thanks for your support and hopes you will join him in an off-site reception to follow immediately at the Coney Station in downtown Coos Bay. It has been my pleasure to be your Master of Ceremonies and see an old shipmate into retirement. Thank you very much. Dismissed.
Wow, look at that.
And I would recommend hanging this somewhere near the kitchen. That's awesome. We all kind of chipped in on it, so.
Nice.
But most of it.
Is that a Canadian maple?
So we're completely out of
Pretty much out of talks right now because my hand is empty. I don't have a beer in it like everybody should have shortly at department head discretion. But I do thank everyone for being part of my day today. It's kind of surreal. It came slowly and then all of a sudden it was like, it was on me. But yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's it.
That's all our surprises. We got nothing more.
Get out of here.
All right, thanks everybody.